Did you know a worrying amount of educational providers in England are unaccredited and or unregulated despite the fact they receive a significant amount of taxpayer money to educate the most vulnerable, and that it's totally legal? If you've been paying attention to UK news, you've probably seen a ton of stories about SEND provision bankrupting councils, but so far the lack of regulation within the sector, which is totally legally permissible, has been mostly unnoticed. Until now, so let's talk about this article. Reading Borough Council has been spending thousands of pounds of taxpayer money placing vulnerable children with an unregistered education provider run by convicted wink wink smuggler. When I read this, I was not surprised because the lack of oversight in AP is horrifying, and it gets even worse in my opinion when it comes to online AP. And on top of that, there is so much money to be made by essentially holding councils for ransom. The article goes on to say unregistered alternative provision typically offers fewer hours of teaching per week to avoid meeting the threshold for Ofsted registration. It then goes on to point out that this provider charges nearly 70k per year per child, and that the council could be spending over £2 million on it. And a reminder that this is part-time education, and that despite Laura being arrested for serious offences, she was running this company right up until she was sentenced. Now, this is the first article I've come across where someone has exploited the glaring lacuna so obviously, and so it is massive in my eyes. And I do hope that this leads to reforms, because the voluntary standards being introduced are obviously not enough. They're voluntary. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Were you aware this was an issue? Would you like me to go in more depth about it? Because I happen to know a lot on this topic, and no one is talking about it. Would you like me to cover the news stories that are probably gonna come out as this continues to be an issue? Let me know.